Welcome to Tu Tien's channel, wishing everyone good health, happiness, and joy. Let's share meaningful and exciting moments together. Don't forget to follow Tu Tien's channel so you won't miss any exciting videos. Thank you for your support. Tu Tien started her day as usual, tidying up around the house. She carefully swept the small yard on the farm, ensuring the area was clean and orderly. Meanwhile, Jack was inside the house, sitting with one leg injured. Despite his condition, he was engrossed in his work, typing diligently on his laptop. After a while, Jack's phone rang. It was his mother calling to check on him. Concerned about his injury, she informed Jack that she had arranged for a doctor to visit the farm to examine him. Just as the call ended, Tu Tien came inside. Seeing Jack sitting in the same spot for so long, she gently walked over, helped him to his feet, and guided him outside to a small table and chairs in the yard. Together, they sat under the shade of a tree, enjoying the fresh morning air. Tien's thoughtful care brought a comforting warmth to the peaceful farm setting. Shortly after, the doctor arrived at the farm as Jack's mother had arranged. Carrying a small medical bag, the doctor greeted Tien and Jack warmly before sitting down to begin the examination. With professional care, the doctor checked Jack's injured leg, asking about the pain and how it had affected his movement. Tien stayed close by, quietly. After completing the checkup, the doctor reassured Jack that the injury wasn't too serious but advised rest and proper care. He prescribed some medication to reduce inflammation and pain and left clear instructions for a speedy recovery. Tien carefully noted the doctor's guidance, determined to help Jack get back on his feet as soon as possible. The doctor's visit brought relief, and with Tien's care, Jack felt a little more at ease. After the doctor left, Tu Tien and Jack sat and chatted for a while. Tien gently asked about Jack's health, how he was feeling after the examination, and whether the pain had improved. Jack smiled and thanked her for her concern, sharing that he felt a bit better, though his legs still ached. They talked about the farm work, future plans, and the tasks ahead. A little while later, Tien prepared her basket to go to the market, not forgetting to remind Jack to rest carefully. After she left, Jack started the fire in the stove at the corner of the yard and placed a kettle on it to boil water, all while continuing to work on his laptop. The farm was so peaceful, the sound of birds chirping, the breeze blowing through the fields, and the smell of smoke from the fire made Jack feel the slow and gentle rhythm of life here. Despite the pain in his leg, he felt his mind calm, thanks to the tranquil surroundings and Tien's thoughtful care. These small moments, seemingly simple, made him appreciate his life here even more. Giang, a girl who always had a special interest in Jack, heard that he had fallen and injured his leg. Feeling worried, she decided to do something to comfort him. She went to buy some milk and snacks, hoping that these small gifts would cheer him up and make him feel better during his recovery. With her items in hand, Giang headed to the farm, eager to see Jack and bring him some comfort. At the same time, Tu Tien was at the market, buying ingredients to cook a meal for Jack. She wandered through the stalls, selecting the freshest produce. First, she stopped at a vegetable stand and bought tomatoes, green onions, and bitter melon, all things Jack liked and often ate. Then she continued to the tofu stall and picked up a block of tofu, knowing it would be light and nutritious for Jack. After that, she visited the pork stall to buy a kilo of fresh meat to supplement Jack's diet and help him regain strength. Tu Tien knew that, in addition to medicine and rest, a good meal filled with nutrients would help Jack recover faster. She carefully picked each item, hoping to cook a warm meal that would not only nourish Jack's body, but also show him how much she cared. When Giang arrived at the farm, she found Jack sitting outside, relaxing. She walked up to him with a bright smile and handed him the milk and snacks, which made him pleasantly surprised and happy. They chatted for a while as Giang asked how Jack was feeling, and he thanked her for her kindness. Soon after, Tu Tien returned from the market, carrying bags filled with fresh ingredients. She smiled as she saw Giang already there and greeted her warmly. In the peaceful atmosphere of the farm, the three of them shared a quiet afternoon, each contributing their own care and attention to help Jack during his recovery. Giang arrived at the farm with the intention of cheering up Jack, bringing him milk and snacks. She smiled as she handed him the treats, but soon realized Jack seemed distracted. He was more focused on his work and didn't give her the attention she had hoped for. They chatted briefly, but Giang felt as though he wasn't fully engaged in their conversation. A short while later, Tu Tien returned from the market, and the three of them talked together. However, Giang noticed that Jack was paying more attention to Tu Tien, making her feel somewhat ignored. Despite her efforts to stay cheerful, Giang felt out of place. After a while, she excused herself, saying, "I'll come back another time." Jack, a bit surprised, thanked her for the milk and snacks, unaware of the reason for her departure. Giang left the farm with a sense of disappointment, feeling unnoticed and disconnected from Jack. She had hoped for a deeper connection, but it seemed Tu Tien had captured most of his attention. Giang left, and Jack and Tu Tien were left alone. They sat together, talking for a while, enjoying the peaceful atmosphere of the farm. Both of them could feel the calmness of the place. There was no rush or worrying, just the stillness of nature and the routine tasks of the day. Tu Tien asked Jack about his health, while Jack shared some thoughts about the work he still needed to do. After some time, Tu Tien stood up to prepare dinner. Jack, who had been sitting at the table working, decided to take a break. He closed his laptop, set it aside, and joined Tu Tien in the kitchen to help with the cooking. The warmth of the house was comforting, and the atmosphere in the kitchen was cozy. They worked together, each with a task. Tu Tien washed the vegetables and prepared the ingredients, while Jack carefully fried the tofu. The smell of the food began to fill the kitchen, making everything feel more alive and inviting. Though cooking was a simple task, doing it together made everything more enjoyable and easier. Every now and then, they exchanged stories, laughing about past memories or sharing interesting things from their lives. Each word from Tu Tien made Jack feel lighter, and sometimes he would tell her funny stories or amusing situations he had experienced in the past. These moments didn't just bring them closer. They also made the atmosphere in the kitchen warm and intimate. Jack no longer felt tired or in pain from his leg. Instead, he felt joy and happiness as he shared the simple yet meaningful task of cooking with Tu Tien. He realized that no matter how difficult the task, everything seemed easier when Tu Tien was by his side. These simple moments were the most precious to him, and he cherished them deeply. Tu Tien also felt happy being able to make Jack's favorite dishes and take care of him while he rested. She wasn't just cooking, she was a companion, someone who was there to share in both the big and small moments of life. This feeling made the kitchen a place full of love, where even the smallest tasks became cherished memories. Tu Tien felt fulfilled knowing she was caring for Jack's health, while Jack appreciated the love and attention Tu Tien had for him. Simple tasks like washing vegetables or frying tofu became meaningful actions when done together, not for the sake of the meal, but for the affection and connection they shared. As the meal slowly came together, the kitchen was filled with a sense of contentment and peace. The two of them sat down at the table, the soft light from the hanging lamp casting a warm glow around the room. The meal, though simple, was full of meaning. Jack and Tu Tien exchanged gentle smiles, appreciating the quiet yet profound connection between them. For Jack, this meal was not just about satisfying hunger, but about the care and affection that Tu Tien had shown him. In that moment, words weren't necessary. They didn't need to say much, simply being together was enough. All worries and cares seemed to disappear. They savored every bite of the meal, each spoonful filled with the warmth of companionship. After the meal, Tu Tien took out the watermelon, sliced it into small pieces, and offered Jack a portion. The sweet fragrance of the watermelon made the evening feel even more pleasant. Jack enjoyed the cool, refreshing taste, feeling more at ease with each bite. Tu Tien sat beside him, the light from the small lamp casting a gentle glow on her face, adding warmth to the atmosphere. The two sat next to the glowing fire, chatting about simple things in life, dreams, plans for the future, and the little joys they found in everyday moments. The sound of the crackling fire and the quiet of the farm made the moment feel intimate and peaceful. Jack shared some of the struggles he had faced, while Tu Tien listened intently, her eyes full of concern and understanding. In that moment, they both felt a deep connection, appreciating the calmness that only such moments could bring. After a while, Tu Tien stood up and went to the medicine cabinet to fetch some herbal medicine. She carefully helped Jack remove his shoes and placed his feet into a basin of warm water with the medicine soaked in it. Jack felt the tension in his legs ease as the warmth from the water soothed the pain. Tu Tien sat next to him, tending to his feet with care and tenderness. The flickering light from the fire cast a soft glow over them, creating a peaceful and loving atmosphere. Once she finished with the foot soak, Tu Tien went outside to take care of the puppies in the pen. She gently fed them and checked on their health. The puppies wagged their tails joyfully as they saw her, and Tu Tien lovingly petted them. Jack watched her from a distance, touched by the affection she showed not just to him but to everything around her. Tu Tien gently took a soft towel and carefully wiped Jack's face, her touch tender and full of care. As she finished, she helped him up, offering her arm for support. Jack, still feeling the effects of his injury, leaned on her as she guided him toward the bed. He looked at her with appreciation, his heart warmed by her gentle care. "Thank you, Tu Tien," he said softly, his voice filled with gratitude. They reached the bed, and Jack sat down, still a bit weary but comforted by her presence. He looked at her with a faint smile, his eyes reflecting the closeness they shared. "You should go to sleep now," Jack said kindly, his voice low. "I'll be fine. You need rest too." Tu Tien hesitated for a moment, looking at him with concern, but she could see the sincerity in his eyes. "Are you sure?" she asked, her voice soft but full of care. "Yes," Jack replied. "I'll just finish up a few things." "You need your rest." He gently reached for her hand and gave it a reassuring squeeze, his touch lingering for a moment longer than necessary. Tu Tien smiled, feeling a warmth in her chest. She leaned over and gave him a quick, gentle kiss on the forehead before she slowly lay down, her eyes never leaving him as she settled in under the covers. She closed her eyes, but a part of her still felt connected to Jack, knowing he was close by. Jack sat beside the bed, opening his laptop. The soft glow of the screen illuminated his face as he worked, but his thoughts were with her. Every now and then, he glanced over at her, his gaze filled with affection. He couldn't help but feel a deep sense of contentment, knowing she was there, resting peacefully. The quiet of the room was comforting. Tu Tien's breathing became steady and slow as she drifted into a peaceful sleep, while Jack continued to work, his attention divided between his tasks and the woman he cared for. There was no need for words. The presence of each other in that simple moment said everything. Jack smiled softly to himself as he looked at Tu Tien, his heart full of affection, grateful for the peace and love that filled the room.